Good morning, class. Okay, so before we start our class today, let us first check your attendance. Okay, is there anyone who is absent today? Oh, okay. No absent? Okay, very good. You are all present today? Okay. Okay, students, our topic for today is all about persuasive text. Now, let's take a look at the objectives of our lesson for today. Okay, so students, at the end of our lesson, you shall be able to, number one objective, identify the features of persuasive text. Number two objective, describe the techniques of public speaking. And number three objective, employ the techniques of persuasive text in public speaking. Okay, students, let us now proceed in our discussion. Students, do you know that the most important component of defense is awareness? In our previous lesson, we have learned how to obtain information that we can use in our everyday life from news reports, speeches, informative talks, and panel discussions. We also learned about how to use reflexive and intensive pronouns. And one more thing, we also learned that being aware of your personal challenges is the initial step in building defense against life's inevitable challenges. Now, students, in this lesson, you will be performing a lot of activities that will strengthen yourself amid discrimination. Specifically, you will be learning to use persuasive text types as a way of expressing yourself and resolving personal conflicts. And last, you shall be able to deliver such persuasive text type through effective public speaking.
Before we begin with our actual lesson, let us first warm up our brains with a little quiz bee. So we will be having 6 groups, and in order to save time, let us make use of the same groupings from our previous meeting. You may go to your groups now, and while you do that, please listen to the mechanics. The quiz bee will have 3 categories: the easy, average, and difficult round. You will be provided with choices or options, except for the difficult round, and in case of a tie, clincher questions will be given. Take note, this is a pre-assessment activity, so your scores will not be part of your formal grade, but I will be giving prizes to the winning group. The questions will be flashed in front, but I will be reading them for you once, and only after then can you start writing your answers. At the end of the time limit, each group must raise their answers. Yes? Yes. You can write your answers on any sheet of paper as long as they're readable. And Connie, since you're the closest to our board, you will be in charge of, yes, writing the scores. But you will still be participating in the activity. Is that okay for you? Okay, thank you. Let us then start with our easy round. Each question is good for 20 seconds and is worth 2 points. Easy question number 1. What is the first thing a persuasive writer should do to convince the reader to agree with him? A. Knowing the audience. B. Asking rhetorical questions. C. Being empathetic. The correct answer is letter A, knowing the audience. Question number 2. It is a feature of a persuasive text that may use hyperbole to emphasize important ideas. A. Repetition. B. Exaggeration. Or C. Rhetorical questions. The correct answer is letter B, exaggeration. Question number 3. What pronouns are to be used consistently when writing a persuasive text? A. Reflexive pronouns. B. Intensive pronouns. C. Personal pronouns. The correct answer is letter C, personal pronouns. Question number 4. These are action words used in active voice that are employed in a persuasive text. A. Powerful verbs. B. Nouns. Or C. Adverbs. The correct answer is A. Powerful verbs. Last easy question. What feature of a persuasive text considers the singular and plural form of the verb used? A. Future tense. B. Present tense. And C. Past tense. The correct answer is letter B. Present tense. Let us now move on to the average round. Each question is good for 30 seconds and is worth 5 points. Average question number 1. These are pieces of information, data, facts, and figures that serve as evidence to support the arguments of a persuasive text. A. Opinions. B. Interviews. Or C. Facts and statistics. The correct answer is C. Facts and statistics. Question number 2. These are questions that are posed as guides in discussing ideas. A. Anecdotal. B. Rhetorical. And C. Hypothetical. The correct answer is letter B. Rhetorical. Question number 3. It is needed to connect ideas. A. Transitioning devices. B. Prepositions. Or C. Connectives and conjunctions. The correct answer is letter C. Connectives and conjunctions. Question number 4. It is a feature of a persuasive text that is done to give emphasis on the main point. A. Repetition. B. Alliteration. Or C. Reduplication. The correct answer is A. Repetition. Last question for the average round. In writing persuasive text, it is the attitude of the author towards its subject. A. Mood. B. Sarcasm. Or C. Tone. The correct answer is letter C. Tone. Let us now proceed with the difficult round, and just as I have mentioned earlier, there are no choices or options, but you are given 1 minute to answer, and each question is worth 10 points. First difficult question. Give the feature of persuasive text that is used in this statement. Washing your hands regularly is a need. I tell you, it is a need. The answer is repetition. Question number 2. It is a persuasive technique that can be used to persuade or trick audiences through excessive and insincere praise. The answer is flattery. Question number 3. What is the persuasive feature that attempts to persuade the audience to agree with someone's point of view by creating an emotional reaction? The answer is emotive language. Yes, group 3? Oh, so your answer is emotional appeal. I think we will have to stick with the answer, emotive language. Okay. Question number 4. It is a persuasive technique that uses a valid argument step by step with reasoning and evidence to support each main point and to sway an audience. The answer is logic and reasoning. And the last question. Give the feature of persuasive text that is used in this statement. Do you want to be a failure for the rest of your life? The answer is rhetorical question. Okay, so let us look at your scores. Oh, so Group 6 and Group 2 are in a tie. So we will be having our clincher questions. Okay then. This round is only for Group 2 and Group 7. Each question is good for 20 seconds and is worth 2 points. Clincher question number 1. It is the main idea, thesis, or point the author is making. Answer. Central argument. Oh, so none of the groups got the correct answer, so we will be having our second clincher question. Question number 2. I hope this breaks our tie. Among these texts, which does not belong to the group? A. I Have a Dream by Martin Luther King Jr. B. The Gettysburg Address by Abraham Lincoln. And C. The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. The correct answer is letter C. The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. And we have a winner! Congratulations to group number 2. So that was our warm-up activity. Yes? Oh, the prize. Okay, for the winning group, please submit your names and I will be giving your prizes next meeting. Okay? I hope you enjoyed this activity because our main lesson is just as exciting.
Okay, so with our pre-assessment activity, I hope that you were all refreshed and you were able to recall your prior knowledge regarding our next topic. Now, let us then proceed with our problem scenario. Is any one of you here who would like to read our problem scenario? No one? Since no one is volunteering, let us all then read our problem scenario. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, go. The Philippine Youth Association for Mental Health is a non-government organization that aims to elevate the consciousness of Filipino youth on mental health and its facets, as well as to put an end to the stigma surrounding mental illnesses and conditions. So annually, PYAMH conducts a National Youth Forum in order to provide the Filipino youth a platform and avenues to unite, speak up, and discuss experiences, conditions, and challenges related to mental health and its betterment. This year, being a professional and experienced public speaker, you are invited as one of the speakers for the forum. Furthermore, you are asked to deliver a persuasive speech in relevance with the essence of the activity as well as the organization. How will you prepare for the role? By looking at our problem scenario, you students are now to assume that you are a professional and experienced public speaker. With this, your task is to write the script of your persuasive speech and to deliver it in front of the Filipino youth. Those are the things that you are going to work on in this particular problem scenario.
Moving on from the given scenario, you need to define the problem. Your task is to identify the things you already know and the things that you are still lacking information. First of all, you know that you are to deliver speech, and that speech must be persuasive in nature. However, there are still some information you need to know, am I right? Perhaps for you to deliver a persuasive speech, here are the things you want to know. Number 1. Yes, Anna? Correct. Preparations prior to public speaking. Number 2. Yes, Joy? Techniques in delivering a speech. That's correct. And number 3, of course, the features of a persuasive text. And number 4, the steps in crafting a persuasive text. Now that we have identified the things that you already know and the things that you are still lacking information, we should then state the problem or issues which leads us to your activity. Don't worry because it will be a group activity, but you need to do research or gather information individually, then brainstorm or discuss with your group mates afterwards. Now, I want you to work with your group mates collaboratively on this. Group 1 will do number 1. What are the preparations needed prior to public speaking? Group 2 will do number 2. What are some techniques to effectively deliver speech? Group 3 will do number 3. What are the features of a persuasive text? And of course, Group 4 will do number 4. What are the steps in crafting a persuasive text? Of course, I will give you enough time to finish your task. I will give you 3 meetings. The 2 meetings is for you to investigate and plan, and the other one is for you to finalize your papers.
After a thorough investigation, you will choose a creative or appropriate way of presenting your solution to the problem. For instance, a video presentation, performance, visual reports, and many others. Also, you may share your findings to other classes in order to educate and inform them as well. For Group 1, your problem is, what are the preparation needed prior to public speaking? Your group shall research the preparations needed prior to public speaking. You may search information online and read some examples. With these findings gathered, you shall create an informative poster containing salient information about the topic and present it through an oral report. So, your output is an informative poster showing the preparations needed prior to public speaking and an oral report as auxiliary explanation. While for Group 2, your problem is, what are some techniques to effectively deliver a speech? Your group is tasked to come up with some techniques to effectively deliver a speech. Then, you shall gather sufficient information and collate this into a video presentation which demonstrates proper ways or techniques on delivering an effective speech. Thus, your output is a video presentation demonstrating the techniques in public speaking. For Group 3, your problem is, what are the features of a persuasive text? Your group is tasked to come up with an infographics using the internet and any applications available online such as Canva to explain the features of a persuasive text, whereas you will creatively provide accurate and informative details regarding the features of a persuasive text. You may opt to produce a physical output like a pamphlet or a digital output to be shared any of the social media available. So, your output is an infographics on the features of a persuasive text in either ways, in physical or digital output. For Group 4, your problem is, what are the steps in crafting a persuasive text? Your group shall research the possible steps in crafting a persuasive text. You may search information and examples online. With the findings you have gathered, you shall create a PowerPoint presentation showing the step-by-step process in creating a persuasive text. Thus, your output is a PowerPoint presentation showing the step-by-step process in crafting a persuasive text. For your individual output, after presenting your findings and educating others, each of you shall create your persuasive text applying the features and the steps discussed. This shall serve as your manuscript in delivering a 2-minute speech observing the preparations and techniques learned.
You shall review and evaluate the process you have done, from gathering of information to the presentation of your outputs. What are the things you like or things that you didn't like from the activity that we have conducted? Are there any? Did each of the members of the group participated or performed their task well? How did you spend or manage resources like time and money? And did you achieve your goals through the solution that you have provided? For this matter, I need you to evaluate yourself and your team members using a rubric that I'll be giving you, which is adapted from the University of Texas. I need you to be honest on this part. You need to evaluate yourself and your team members using a 4-point scale rubric, 1 being the lowest and 4 being the highest. If you have comments or feedbacks to your classmates or to your teammates, please write it down also.
Okay, that's all for today's meeting.
Do you have any questions? Clarifications? None?
If there is none, I hope that everything is clear then.
Thank you very much for your enthusiasm and participation.
Goodbye, class. See you around and have a great day.